today I have to teach you something new. So we're going to do 1:30:23. We're going to learn about distance, speed, and time. Distance, speed, and time. Joseph, so we're back on this. No iPads. Yay us. Yay us. Alright. So, the first thing we're going to do, before we, go into the notes, I want to prepare the graph paper. So, I need the piece of graph paper that I gave you. We need to turn it into a triangle. Okay? So, I'll guide you through it, but your end result...
I saw that. My friend showed it to me.
Alright, so here's how you do it. You're going to basically end up with a triangle. So, some origami. So this corner, we're going to put it somewhere down here. This edge, this side of your paper, this one up here, has to be along this side. So I'm going to, basically, you see my two fingers? They're going to be meeting. My two fingers will be meeting. So I'm going to go like this, making sure that this side it's even. So kind of pull down the corner, line it up to the edge of your paper. Making sure that this edge meets. All right.
Oh, I have the yearbook of last year. Like this.
So, yep. So this bottom rectangle here, we are going to fold up, but we're not going to deal with trash.
This is how to make a ninja star.
Oh yeah, I know how to make a ninja star. I was born.
We are going to fold this extra piece of rectangle up.
It's a bow.
Yeah.
This little. Oh, I forgot how to make a bow. Because I used to make so many times I forgot. Oh, I remember how to make a clock.
Now we're going to open up the triangle and hide the piece of rectangle up in there. Right there. Open up the triangle, tuck the rectangle inside of it.
Wait. I can't do that.
Open it up.
Yeah, no.
Open it.
Look what I'm
There you
doing.
go.
Inside, right?
Now put the rectangle inside and close up the triangle again.
See, bro, what this? I can do a butterfly. I can do a.
Close up your triangle
I can
again.
do a butterfly.
Yeah, it's already there. It's already folded.
How do you do it?
Don't.
Oh.
All right.
I messed up a little. There's a little leftover. Why are you folding it?
It's fine. All right. So this is it, right? The rectangle is tucked inside. All right. Perfect. Just put that away. All right. Just leave that to the side. I wanted to kind of get the triangle out of the way since that is the most stressful part of the lesson. All right. Here we go. The first one I'm going to review with you is called distance. How do we measure a distance? What units do we use when we talk about distance?
Miles per hour. No, speed. That's speed, I think.
Correct. So say
Kilometers.
that. Kilometers. How many kilometers is LAX to
1.5.
San Diego? All right. Okay, what else? How else do we measure distance?
Feet.
Miles.
Feet, miles,
Inches.
inches,
Centimeters.
centimeters,
Meters.
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 All right, and millimeters and so on, right? So, here's the reason why we write these down. Because when I'm asking you for a distance, these are the units I need you to use. I don't need you to use seconds, miles per hour, that will make your whole answer incorrect. So when it comes to distance, please use the correct units. All right. So in your word problem, if it doesn't say what is the distance, and it says how far, ... If you read these two words, how far, you are solving for distance. Maybe you need to take this off so that you're not making mistakes that shouldn't be made. All right. Here is a formula for distance. Distance is equal to speed times time. So in order to solve for distance, you need to multiply the speed times the time. How fast was the car going and for how long? All right, so that's distance. The next one we're going to talk about is speed. Okay, what are the units for speed? How do I measure the speed of a car?
Miles per hour.
Yeah, so speed has 3 words.
Per minute.
Miles per hour is the most common one.
Sometimes it's meters per second. Meter per second. Only if it's really fast though.
So the most common one that you'll see in the United States is miles per hour. When you're in the car, on the freeway, or walking home, you'll see the big signs. It'll say like a big 30 and then MPH at the bottom.
Nuts.
What
Knots?
about
You just put nuts.
Oh!
I
Okay.
put nuts.
Yes, I thought knots verified. I'm like, why would I put knots verified? Got it. So, hold on. Let me ask you this. If I were, so this is usually how we measure speed for cars in the United States. If I were to be observing a snail that came into the classroom and I wanted to know its speed and I was going to watch it, would I measure its speed using miles per hour?
Yeah.
no?
No,
This is too slow.
because the snail's going way too slow for this unit. Yes?
Wouldn't it be a centimeter
Crosswalk.
centimeter an hour or something like that?
Well, do I want to watch it for an hour?
Meter per second.
No. So meters is that ruler that's right behind Ariel that she's going to hold up right now.
That's 1 meter.
This is about a meter.
And what?
Okay?
What?
Do I want to watch a snail travel that distance?
No. So baby.
No.
Yeah.
Centimeter.
Just turbo.
Centimeters. How big is a centimeter?
Right.
Yeah, right. Like this size.
Yeah.
Pinky.
It's your pinky, actually. It's the size of your nail going this way on a pinky. So do I want to watch a snail travel, like, using a centimeter?
Yeah.
Yeah. How long do I want to watch it for?
Maybe like a minute.
A minute, couple seconds, right? So this changes depending on what you're measuring. If it's a snail, literally, if it's a snail, I'm probably going to be using centimeters per minute or seconds, right?
Minute.
Let's do minute. So I'm going to watch it for 1 minute, and I'm going to measure the centimeters. So I can record, if it's a snail, it would be centimeters per minute.
No.
Okay? Does that make sense? So depending on what it is, it changes. If I wanted to measure a train, I'll go back to miles per hour. An ant,
That's it.
it's a little faster than a snail, right? All right. So if you read how fast, if you're doing a word problem and it says how fast, you're solving for speed. You're not solving for distance. How fast is a speed? And the formula for speed is equal to distance divided by time. So in this one, we actually divide. When we divide, we're solving for speed. All right, the last one. Time.
I show speed.
How do we measure time?
Light years. Years.
Huh? Minutes?
Hours. Seconds. Milliseconds.
Days,
You said
weeks,
form of time.
months, years,
Hours?
I said
Days? Okay. So on and so forth, right? The list is endless. So time, when you're going to give me your answer, it has to be in these units. 5 hours, 3 minutes, 2 seconds. It's just one word. one of these words, but of course there's a million other ways to say time. The only one that has 3 words is speed, miles per hour, centimeters per second. That's the only one that has 3 words. Time only has 1. All right, when you read how long, okay, how long, kids, this is the one they mess up on, because they read how long and they think, oh, how long is the pen? And it's like, no. How long does it take you to walk to school? That's how the phrase how long is coming from. Not how many inches this is. So be very careful. A lot of times kids will read how long and they think it's a distance, but it's actually a time. All right. Time is equal to distance divided by speed. Distance divided by speed. So this is another division one. This is another division. All right. Now, these are 3 formulas that I just taught you in like 5 minutes. So there's a formula for distance, there's a formula for speed, and there's a formula for time. Distance, speed, and time. How do you memorize all this? Our trusty handy dandy triangle. Okay? I am going to write what I need you to write, and I need you to write it with big letters, just like I'm going to do it. So, yes, it matters how big you write down the letters. So, this is how big I need them, and then I'm going to show you in person. So, yes, I need them pretty big. This is not, I'm going to write them super small. So, please write them this big.
This is small.
You guys, like, need,
I think it
Are you sick?
I don't know if it's too hard.
Well, buddy, got paid the rest.
I'm not looking. All right. Oh no. Elizabeth. Elizabeth.
Is your parents next
Elizabeth?
to us
Wait, was
Can you tell me the code that's blocking the block?
and then I got that back to my
J?
J,
J.
0,
name one place.
All right. So, this triangle with these big letters. So, here's how you're going to use it. Okay. I don't need you to tell us. It's yours. You will make it work for yourself. Okay. If you are solving for distance, you're solving a question that says how far. You are going to cover up the letter that you're solving for. So if I'm solving for distance, take your triangle and cover up the letter D because you're solving for distance. So you cover up the letter D. What is left over?
S plus times times.
Yes, which is what I have here, S times T. So this dot means multiplication. So if I cover up the letter D because I'm solving for distance, it gives me my formula. So let's unfold. What if I'm solving for speed? What letter do I cover up?
Yes.
This is divided.
The S, so cover up the S.
divided by T.
D divided by T.
Yes. What does this line mean? Divide. So we have, Caitlin, distance divided by time. That's literally what is written here, distance divided by time. So it tells me what to do. Then I unfold it. What if I'm solving for time? What letter do I cover up? The T.
Distance divided by speed.
Yep. And my formula is distance divided by speed, and that's what I wrote down here. So instead of memorizing 3 individual formulas, you memorize how to draw this triangle, and you cover up the letter that you are solving for. And it gives you all 3 formulas in one particular spot. All right. The hardest part of these problems is figuring out, what am I solving for? Am I solving for distance, speed, or time? The math is extremely easy. That's not what we're worried about. We're worried about What are we solving for?
Formulas.
No, the formula should be easy from this.
Oh, yeah, right.
Okay. Miss Amelie traveled for 5 hours in her super cool car. Okay? If her average speed was 65 miles per hour, how far did she travel? Alright. So what are we solving for?
Distance.
Distance. How do you know?
Because
It
it's
says
how
how
far.
far.
Yep.
It doesn't matter that it has miles per hour. It matters the way it says.
So you're reading how far,
Yeah,
right? So that automatically, eventually, in your brain will say distance. Distance. Okay? Another way of solving it, if it doesn't say how far and you're kind of confused, I mean, Aiden kind of shouted out time. So what does 5 hours represent? Time. So this is time. So are you going to be solving for time? No, they gave you time. You're not going to solve for it.
Because you're gonna use it to
Speed
find the
times-
answer.
Speed times 5.
What does 65 miles per hour represent?
Speed.
This is speed. So are you going to be solving for speed?
Yes.
No, they already gave it to you. So there's another way to solving. What am I solving for? They gave me the time, they gave me the speed. You're solving for distance. So use your triangle,
Oh, 65.
cover it up. What is it telling us to do?
65 times 5. Or
Multiply. So I have speed times time. Okay, what's my speed?
65.
65 what?
Hour.
Okay,
Hour.
you want the math to be easier? Write down the units. Miles per hour. It takes you 5 extra seconds to do, but it will save you later a lot of time. Times. What's my time?
5 hours.
5 hours. Use your units. It's going to take you an extra 5 seconds, but it's worth it at the end. Okay, what's 65 times 5?
325.
What?
miles per hour. No, miles. No,
Miles.
Okay, here. You see the units? Which word-ish repeats? Hours. So whatever repeats, you're going to cross out. Okay? Whatever repeats, you're going to cross out. Whatever is left, other than the per, you're going to use. So I know you told me miles. So this is the letter that doesn't repeat. So our units is 325 miles. It's easy because it's distance and it makes sense. It's not kilometers. It's not centimeters. Because it's 65 miles per hour, miles will be your unit. It's a distance. So it has to be centimeters, meters, miles. All right. We're okay with this one? All right. Owen ran a total of 15 miles over the weekend. True story, almost, right?
No.
Oh.
Did you run 20?
I'd be super sore and I would have came to school if I ran 15 miles.
No. Light work.
If his speed was 3 miles per hour, is that fast or slow?
That's
Slow.
That's slow.
How
The average is 15.
long, huh? did it take him? Okay. Alright. Owen ran a total of 15 miles over the weekend. So he ran a couple on Friday, a couple on Saturday, finished up on Sunday before dinner. If his speed was 3 miles per hour, on average, 3 miles per hour, how long did it take him? So what are we solving for? Time. So how long tells you time. Okay? So you look at your triangle. What letter am I going to cover up? The T. I cover it up. So we're solving for how long, so that's time. So I cover up the T, distance divided by speed. What's my distance?
15.
15 what? Miles divided by?
3 miles per hour.
All right. 5 what?
Miles. No. Hours. Yeah, hours.
We're talking about time.
Oh.
So what units do I use for time?
Yeah, because that's the only one that hours.
So, listen. On your test, if you just go, Miss Amelie, the answer is 5. You won't get credit. Okay. So, what word repeats here?
Miles.
Okay, so you know how I'm telling you, take the extra 5 seconds. You cross out the words that repeat. Because miles and miles. The per is actually this line. The line actually means per. Technically, the per also disappears. Okay, what are we left with? What word?
Hours.
Hours. So that's our unit. So this extra step of writing down the units, you might be like, oh, why? It doesn't matter with the math. It matters with what you're going to write down here.
It saved my life.
All right. You okay? Juan traveled a total of 632 miles in 8 hours. How fast was he going?
In 8 hours?
Yep.
Oh my lord. Fast. Enzo Ferrari.
Juan traveled a total of 632 miles in 8 hours.
Wait, is that me or is that a different
How fast?
Different one. Different one.
Okay, what is how fast?
Speed heat.
Speed.
I feel like speed's more obvious.
Sometimes. So you cover it up. So speed is equal to distance divided by time. With units. With units, please. So what's my distance?
632 miles
Divided by?
divided by 8 hours.
Alright. Alright, so what's 632 divided by 8? 79. Now, do any of the words repeat?
No.
No. None of the words repeat. Guess what? We use them all.
What?
Miles per
Miles per hour.
Oh yeah. NPC.
The line is your per. So, miles per hour. There's no words that repeat, so you use them all. Speed, Anthony, Aiden are the only ones that use 3 words. Miles per hour. Okay? Are you okay? It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Start doing the math on paper because the next time we do this, you will not have access to a calculator for these problems. So start getting back used to showing long division, multiplication, because you will not be doing, you're not be allowed to use a calculator on this test when the time comes. All right, so go slow. What am I really grading? The units. Okay.
So it doesn't matter if you get it wrong.
Well, you know what I mean.